Is Stellar Lumens XLM? Is it a commodity? A security? Well, by the end of this video, I am going to have you convinced that it is neither of those two. And I bet you're going to share this video with a bunch of people because this is going to open your eyes to the world of crypto and that there should be 4 classifications of crypto. Yep, not just commodities and securities, but 2 more than that. So let's go screen and explore my thoughts. And as always, any article you see in this video will be linked in the description below. Yes, the crypto world was rocked last week as Gary Gensler said this. He reaffirms that Bitcoin is a commodity and can be regulated under the CFTC. Now, to talk about what XLM is, we got to first talk about Bitcoin and what it means to be a commodity. All right, think of commodities: gold, oil, corn, stuff like that. Over the course of time, has gold, oil, or corn evolved? No, not really, all right? And no, let's not talk about the genetic alteration of corn. Let's just talk about corn as its natural state, okay? Now, a lot of you out there saying, yeah, all this stuff has evolved. No, it hasn't evolved. The use cases for those have evolved, right? In the beginning, we were using gold to trade with. Now people are using gold to, like, say, back up loans. They're using it to pay for things in some places. So gold itself is still gold, but the way we're using it is different. That is very similar to Bitcoin, isn't it? See, Bitcoin has not evolved whatsoever, has it? Interesting. But the use cases of Bitcoin have evolved. Michael Saylor, oh my gosh, Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy buys more Bitcoin. Yep, he bought another 10,000 Bitcoin. He's using his company's cash to buy Bitcoin as a store of value. Just like he could use that for gold too, right? He could take his cash and turn it into gold and put that on his company's books. A commodity. Interesting. All right. Oh gosh. Hedge fund 3 Arrows failure could be the next blow to Bitcoin. We already know about 3 Arrows, but here's something that I want you to think about. Voyager said that the firm has failed to make payments on a loan of 15,250 Bitcoin. People are using Bitcoin now as collateral to loans, right? See, that's my point. Bitcoin itself is not evolved. It is very much like a commodity, like gold, oil, corn, and stuff like that. I gotta be honest with you, Gary Gensler's right about Bitcoin as a commodity, but he is wrong about the rest of the crypto community. All right, let's go to this Bored Ape Yacht Club. Ooh, baby, you guys know that has been big in the news. 3 factors behind Shiba Inu's price that can trigger important movement. All right, so now let's get into cryptos as a security. And to do that, let's go big screen. So let's talk about the idea of a bunch of these tokens out there. And my feeling is 99.99999% of those are going to fall under securities, right? There's a speculative asset to it, okay? When we think of Bored Ape Yacht Club, what's really the utility there? And I know people are like, oh, but you get licensing rights and all this. But the idea, the reason that people are buying it was for speculative reasons. Same thing with Shiba Inu, Doge, and all that stuff. There's really no use to it. There's really no like commodity standard to it, right? It's not like people are going to put Shiba Inu on their books. It's not like they're going to be like, you know, we should buy 50 Bored Ape Yacht Clubs and let's have them on our books. No, those are speculative. People get into those with the hopes that the value increases over time. So the majority of cryptos out there are going to fall under securities. Now, XLM, no, is not going to fall into that category. In fact, XLM isn't even going to fall into the next category because we're going to talk about stable coins next. All right, now this is where things are going to get real funky, and hear me out on this. All right, breaking down the events that led to Terra LUNA crash and the whole UST mess. All right, so now I want you to think of stable coins. Stable coins, got you there, everyone. Real stable coins, okay? UST, algorithmic-based stable coins, aren't stable because we've seen that's totally not true, and they're not backed one-to-one. So my belief is non-backed one-to-one algorithmic-based stable coins should also be put in the category of security, right? Why did people get into UST? Because they're like, hey, we can make X amount money more, right? Hoping that the value just increases, hoping that we can gain more out of it. They used it as a security. Now, USDC, on the other hand, what category should that fall into? What about digital currency? Oh, wait a minute, Klaus. That sounds way too obvious to be true. Yeah, think about it. Is USDC a commodity or security? No, it's a currency, a whole different classification of currency. In fact, what is it? It's the US dollar that's digital. What about the euro C, right? It's the euro that's digital. So those true one-to-one backed real stable coins should be classified as what, everyone? currencies. So now you're all sitting there going, well, wait a minute. We've talked about commodities, we've talked about securities, and we've talked about currencies. And I think I got you guys sold on all those three ideas. Well, now let's start talking about XLM and the category that XLM falls into. Now, XLM is extremely different than like the 99.99% of all the other cryptos out there. And I believe it should not, yes, everyone, should not be classified as a security, but instead be classified as a digital utility. All right, I want you to think of the water company, electric company, internet companies, utility companies. Hear me out, everyone. This is going to have you convinced, and this is what's going to make you share this with everyone and ask for Stellar XLM to be classified as a utility by your government regulating bodies. All right, so let's go back to the electricity thing here. What do power lines do? They move electricity, right? Do the power lines themselves have a value? No, not really. I mean, they're made out of wood, there's some metal, there's some copper and that kind of stuff. But the actual value of the power line is what? The ability to deliver reliable electricity to you out there, right? Oh, okay. What about water lines, right? You know, those pipes underneath the ground that are underneath like our houses, that are underneath like the easements and all that stuff out there. What about those? What is the real value of a water line? It's the idea that they supply reliable water to people. God, that sounds a lot like XLM. What does XLM do, everyone? XLM is the utility that moves money on the Stellar chain. Yes, and that's exactly my point, all right? No one out there is using Stellar XLM as a commodity, right? Do you see any companies out there going, well, we have to liquidate our 10 billion lumens because that's what we've turned our cash into? No. Now, are a bunch of you out there using XLM as a security? Yes, you are. You're using it as a speculative asset, hoping it'll increase in value. Now, does Stellar fall into a stable coin? No, obviously not. That kind of rules out the currency thing. But what Stellar actually is a new type of utility, right? Just like we have electric companies, water companies, and all that kind of stuff, we now have a digital utility that moves digital money. Oh, see, as the world has evolved, right? And we've kind of gone from, hey, everyone using, cash and all that stuff to pay for stuff. We are now moving into the digital age, right? So we had those digital currencies, but how do you move those digital currencies? Well, you need a utility to move it. And that's why XLM is a utility token, which should be the fourth category that cryptos should be put into. Now, why is this important? I want you to think utilities out there. Would a government ever let a utility fail? Hear me out. Would a government ever let all the water pipelines, all the electrical lines in the world go to crap? No. If anything were ever to happen, there's a vested interest across the entire globe to keep this infrastructure going. What about the internet and all those things, right? Yes, it's subcontracted out by private companies to take care of, but what about that information that flows across it? Yes, these are types of utilities, and this is a new utility that has been brought into our lives. Now, a bunch of you out there, I do understand you are using XLM as a security, right? You're using it as a speculative asset, hoping that if you buy it here, you're going to be able to sell it here. See, I'm buying Stellar Lumens XLM because I believe it's going to be classified as a utility, not a security. And I want to own the lines that the water, electricity, and data, and in this case, money flows through. Now, being a utility is very different because being a utility gives the government one big advantage, especially in the United States, over everything else out there. And that one thing is probably going to scare you, but it's actually a really, really good thing. And so if XLM was classified as a utility, what is the one thing that governments could do that would be really, really good? If you want to know what that is, comment below. Let me know you're interested. Let me know your thoughts on these. Let me know your thoughts on the 4 different classifications that I believe crypto should fall into. So what is XLM? Well, my belief is that it should be classified as a utility, just like your water, electric, and gas lines out there.